Hey, you got a customer out here. Ham and eggs over easy, hash brown. Hungry cash customer. I got $2.85, American money. Sure, American money. Well, we got that much settled. I'm an American. You see, there's some question about my identity. Let me put it to you this way. I'm not sure who I am.
There is nothing wrong with your podcatcher. Do not attempt to pause it. Welcome to a private recording about 3 separate anthology series, each a masterpiece in its own way. This is the dimension of gushing. It is an area we call the Sci-Fright Zone.
Welcome to the Sci-Fright Zone, where 2 fans of anthology series go through the Outer Limits, Night Gallery, and the Twilight Zone. I'm Diana.
And I'm Alisha.
We're finally, for real this time, talking about a Twilight Zone episode.
We are!
No one watches our Night Gallery episodes, apparently, so hopefully people will actually pay attention to this one.
What? But the Night Gallery episodes are so fun. You guys need to up your game.
No, they don't like Portafoy.
Only terrible human beings don't like Portafoy.
Now, this episode was, as you can imagine, written by Rod Serling. You'll be hearing that a lot. Mm-hmm. And it was directed by Robert Stevens. It's called Where Is Everybody? And it aired October 2nd, 1959.
Yeah, it's wild that this is like the very first one, because I mean, when I first watched the Twilight Zone, I was watching it on the New Year's Day sci-fi marathons. So I just kind of watched this one, like, randomly in between other episodes. I never realized it was the first one.
Because when I first watched the Twilight Zone, it was back when the Blu-rays first came out. And I bought the Season 1 Blu-ray, so I watched the first season a lot. And this was obviously the first episode. So I can only think of it as the first episode. I had to watch everything in its correct order.
Yeah, I kind of watched Twilight Zone all over the place. Just catching what episodes I could on the Sci-Fi channel when I wasn't at work.
The Twilight Zone, the next handful of episodes are ones that I wasn't super big on when I first watched them. And I was, back then, I was a little disappointed that I was like, oh, this is the Twilight Zone. I thought it would be better than this. And eventually I was proven wrong. And also, I was first watching it as I think like a 19-year-old. So my opinions didn't matter. I was stupid, and I was just like, this is the best show ever. Everyone older than me won't shut up about this. I should finally watch it. It didn't initially impress me. Even this episode that we're going to talk about, I wasn't super big on when I first watched it, like 12, 13 years ago.
I really liked this one.
It's a great episode. No, it genuinely is, but yeah. I was a stupid teenager.
You're like, what the heck is this shit?
Don't ever listen to what a teenager says, and if you're a teenager listening to this, you'll know what I mean in like 5 to 10 years. Yeah. It's not your fault that you're the way you are now. It's not your fault.
I had so many dumb opinions when I was a teenager.
Yeah, like and you still do, because you gave the time element an A.
The time element was really good. I don't know why you're such a hater for the time element.
Maybe it's because it didn't have Rod Serling like this classic here.
It weirded me out that he didn't appear in the episode, because I'm so used to him, like, being there to introduce it.
And that almost wasn't the case with the Twilight Zone, but I'll get to that later. We have our iconic Twilight Zone intro for the first time, obviously, and the opening narration by Rod Serling has to explain that the place is here, the time is now.
It's so good.
Yeah, this episode will always stay relevant. Doesn't matter if you watch it, 10 years after it came out or 100 years after it came out. It's still here and now.
Yeah. Like, never mind that none of us go to, like, soda bars or legit 50s diners, but it's fine.
Yeah, and the end of the episode is still just as relevant as it was back then.
I think so.
So we have a man in a jumpsuit walking down a dirt path. He's clearly in middle America, small town, Americana. But at this stage, he's just outside a 50s diner-looking place, and there's jazz music playing. And he walks in, clearly wanting, he wants some food, and also to know where he is, because he's just walking down here not knowing where he is.
Yeah, he doesn't know where he is or who he is. Just completely lost.
So he walks into this diner, the sign says they're open, but he can't see a single person in sight. He walks up to the counter, and he's yelling out to whoever is presumably in the back, asking what the name of the town is. And when no one answers, he very rudely, goes over the counter and tries to walk into the back of this diner.
Yeah, and there's a kettle of coffee, I think, that's going off, suggesting that people were just there.
Yeah. Thanks to me watching this with subtitles, I got to use the word percolating, which is what it said it did, which is a great word.
Oh, percolating is a great word.
You don't say it enough.
It has very rare use cases, yeah.
But the coffee is percolating and the food is still out. So yeah, if anything happened, it was very recent. He decides to pour himself some coffee, and then he accidentally knocks over a clock, and it kind of shatters the glass on it. And that means nothing. I'm sure it won't come back later.
Nah, I'm sure that's not foreshadowing anything.
But he keeps yelling out his order, assuming there's got to be someone in here who will take his order. And he has $2.85 on him, which should get him a lot of food. I looked it up, that is now about $32.
Oh my god, the past!
Yeah, money changes, can you believe that?
I've never heard of inflation.
Do not look up inflation.
Nah, for several reasons you should not do that, but...
But after pulling out the money, he remembers he's American because he's got American money. Because he doesn't know anything about himself. Frankly, I would have said he's American because he rudely, jumped behind the counter and interrupted who the people would be working there.
And demands special customer service treatment.
But yeah, he's kind of concerned, this might be a dream because that's the only logical explanation.
Yeah, he seems pretty convinced that he's having a nightmare.
That'll keep happening throughout the whole episode. So after this, he runs into the empty town, right nearby this diner. And yeah, the town, completely empty. Not a single person. Except he does see a woman in a car, and he runs over to her, only to find out she's a mannequin. Wah, wah.
Yeah, it's a car sitting in front of, a mannequin factory. Yeah, but he must have, very terrible vision, because it's pretty dang obvious that girl was a mannequin. Maybe it's less obvious on a CRT TV.
Yeah, I think so, but no, the actor for this episode, he appears on the audio commentary on the DVD and Blu-ray. And he was even yeah, it doesn't even look like a person. It's just a mannequin.
No, not even remotely. But, suspension of disbelief, that's fine.
And, from a distance, maybe.
And he was so desperate to find people.
And who puts a mannequin in the front of a car?
Yeah, exactly. I think the mannequin factory owner was a weirdo.
Yeah, when I first watched this, I kind of expected the mannequin to take, a more important role in the episode. I kind of thought it might be, a Castaway situation, or, the sex robot on the asteroid episode later, where this would be as if, friends.
See, I thought, when I first watched this episode, that it was gonna be, alien experimenting on humans.
There's an Alien episode that I can think of, but the moral of the episode is don't drink and drive, because you might get abducted by aliens.
I mean, whatever works to stop people from doing that, so...
This episode is mostly a man talking to himself.
Yeah, this actor had to do, a ton of heavy lifting.
But he hears a payphone go off, which is great, and he runs to it, and there's no answer. So he hangs up and puts in his own money to try to make an outside call. A recorded message pops up instead of an operator, basically saying that the phone number he tried to call doesn't work. Even though he hasn't called a phone number yet, he just, this world is messed up.
Yeah, he was like trying to talk to the operator.
It's weird to think that used to be someone's job. Just to have to connect
Yeah.
every phone call.
That sounds like super tedious.
And like, imagine if you have social anxiety and it's like you've already got to call someone and then you got to call a person before you call the person.
Yeah, oh god, no thanks. That would have killed me.
Thankfully, this payphone has like a telephone directory, which is what they call it. It's a phone book. It has a phone book of like everyone in town. So he sees all these names and addresses. So I can add this to the short list of, stories where a payphone phone book is plot important. It's right up there with the Terminator.
Yeah.
To the younger people listening, there used to be this little book that was like a doxing book, where it just said where everyone lived, what their phone number was, their name.
It's honestly pretty insane that was ever a thing. I mean, now you can just find anybody's address on the internet, but,
After his issues not being able to talk to anyone in the payphone, he tries to get out, and he gets stuck inside the payphone, and he has a panic attack trying to, like, open it up and fighting it.
Yeah, I mean, that would be really scary if you were, like, all by yourself. And then you're just trapped at a payphone? Oh, no.
Yeah, and there's an interesting story behind that I'll get to later.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, no, it's based on a real incident.
Oh, no.
But at this stage, he feels like like someone is watching him. He can't see anyone watching him, but this paranoia is setting in.
See, this is why I thought alien experiment.
And he walks into a police station, voluntarily for some reason. He goes up to the microphone in the police station and puts out, like, an APB, basically saying, hey, all squad cars come to the police station, there's a suspicious man here. And that's how desperate he is. He's trying to get the cops to, like, deal with him, because there's no one here.
Yeah, he's just, as you can imagine by this point, he's getting very desperate to find people.
I can't relate. It must be nice to just, like, have some time to yourself.
I mean, it would be cool if, like, this big empty town set, like, wasn't so... It does a very good job of being big and empty and creepy.
But, like, think of all the stuff you could steal.
I mean, he makes himself a little sundae at the soda shop, which is what I would have done immediately, but...
Yeah, but I would have, like, made multiple.
Yeah, I would have made a freaking giant one.
But yeah, when he's in the police station, he can see some smoke that was coming out of an ashtray. There's a recently lit cigar. Once again, implying that people were just here a minute ago. But clearly there's no one.
Yeah, which has some pretty horrifying implications.
Like, everyone's been raptured except for him.
Yeah, or alien abducted.
No, I still think he's gonna, like, get romantic with the mannequin. That's clearly the only way this episode can go.
I mean, if he would have been stuck here a little bit longer, he probably would have, yeah.
But no, we're still a few episodes away from man gets desperate with an inanimate object that looks like a woman. That's not until later in season 1.
But we will get there.
He walks into the jail that's connected to the police station, and surprise, surprise, it's still empty, if you can believe it. But he can hear the sound of water. It's like dripping water, which eventually leads him to a sink in a cell, and the water is still just running a little.
Yeah, it's got like a little shave kit in it.
Once again, all this stuff is just out, like, someone was clearly just here shaving, but not anymore.
And side note, did they just let prisoners have like razor blades back in the day? It seems like super dangerous.
Well, the reason we have every rule now is because they trusted people and then someone broke their trust. It's like when you were allowed shoes at the airport, you know? It just takes one incident for rules to change.
Oh, yep. Or maybe it's a small town and, everybody who's getting arrested says like, yeah, you can trust that guy with a razor blade.
We know you won't do anything bad.
You just got drunk outside of the sock hop again, but
While he's dealing with all this, like the shaving kit and the water, we can see there's a shadow on the wall of the cell door closing on him, which is really well done.
Yeah, it's really good.
He sees it and runs out before he gets locked in. Once again, it feels like someone's watching him. Someone's trying to lock him in here.
Yeah, he keeps almost getting trapped.
His paranoia is getting a little extreme. Justifiably so. I'm not shaming him, but...
I'd be freaking out too.
Yeah, I'd be terrified. Now, if they could lock me in that drugstore for Sundays, that'd be fine.
Oh yeah. Oh, I would have just hunkered down in there and see how this whole thing plays out.
That even had books to read.
Yeah, and like 50 copies of The Last Man on Earth,
which I don't know is a real book.
Is that a real book? I meant to look it up.
I know there's a book called The Last Man, but that's different.
Yeah.
Which was about the last man on Earth, but no one in the 50s cared about it. It didn't get popular until, like... It came out in, like, the 1850s or 18-somethings. It was, like, one of the first ever stories about, like, an apocalypse destroying the world. And no one liked it because it was too, like, depressing. And then it didn't get, like, its second printing until, I think, the 60s or 70s.
Well, I wonder why that became a relevant idea again in the 60s and 70s.
And then it got even more relevant in 2020, because it's specifically about a virus that kills everyone in the world.
Ouch.
Good book if you want to read a depressing slog.
Yay.
Yeah, we're too happy right now. We need to read a story where everyone we know dies horribly.
Yeah, I love being depressed.
You'll love this. It even has suicide. So not everyone dies from the virus.
Oh, God.
Just a tangent for a second. It was written by Mary Shelley, the person who did Frankenstein.
Oh, yeah, she did write, like, the first sci-fi novel.
Yeah, but she wrote this as well, and she wrote it, like, right after her husband died. And she was very depressed.
She was really going through it, yeah.
And it's an unintentionally gay book, because, she based the main character, who's a man, on herself, and then based his best friend on her husband. So they have more chemistry than the man does with his wife.
Oh, that's rough. I mean, she could have also been, like, pulling from her experiences with Percy Shelley and, like, Lord Byron's whole thing. I think there's a lot of that in Frankenstein, too.
That's all in here. Everyone is based on, like, a person she knows. But it's like... It was like a Tumblr book 200 years before Tumblr existed. It was so sad.
Oh, man.
But that's not in this episode, but now people know about a book that they should read, but no one will, because it takes about, like, halfway through the book for the plot to start.
But if you're interested in foundational, genre-starting literature...
If you're interested in the book where the first half is just getting you to like characters and the second half is ripping them away from you, spoilers. It's a good book. Yeah, no, if he read this book in this episode, he probably would have killed himself.
That's so sad.
Like, he's already in a depressing situation. Do you want to make his life worse?
Yeah. Well, those guys probably didn't have complete access to a soda bar with ice cream, so...
That's a good point.
The book.
Yeah, no, the book didn't have that. The book had... the book was set in the future of, like, the 2080s and 2090s.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, we had the future of things, like Constantinople.
Oh.
Hot air balloon travel to fly places. It's very futuristic.
Well, she couldn't have seen one of those things coming.
She should have. I'm blaming her.
No.
She should have known.
Istanbul's your fault, Mary Shelley.
Go back and write another Frankenstein. No one wants this.
Frankenstein 2.
This time the monster is even more of a fucking cunt. Have you read Frankenstein?
No, I mean, I know what it's like. I know the plot beats, what it's about, but...
He is sort of justified in being a piece of shit, but he also goes way too far.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's trying to do one of those, if Frankenstein would have just been nice to him.
Yeah, that's the whole thing. But he's like, I'm angry at this man who's mean to me, so I'm going to torture him. And the best way to torture him is by killing all the women in his life. That's a fair, equal thing.
Yeah, and now make me a sister wife, or I'm going to kill you.
Come on, Mary Shelley, why do you hate women so much? Good to be mad at one of the best, most important writers in the world.
Also, she was like 8. What was she, like 18 when she wrote that?
I'll cut this out.
No, you should keep it. It's fun.
Okay. It'll get our episode runtime up, which is good for analytics. I might just leave in about 2 hours of white noise at the end.
Then we could just call it an ASMR video.
This guy in, like, this town, could you imagine if all he had was ASMR videos to listen to? That'd be even worse.
My mind tends to go to, like, the weird ones where it's like, your ASMR girlfriend eats your ears or some shit.
ASMR Mary Shelley hates women.
ASMR Mary Shelley whispers misogynistic slurs in your ears for 5 hours.
But now, thanks to Sora AI, we can create that ourselves and have Mary Shelley fucking crying in hell.
No, if you want to make 5 hours of Mary Shelley saying misogynistic slurs in your ears, you need to do the work. You need to get the costume.
I thought you were going to say get the coffin.
Or the coffin. I mean, didn't she lose her virginity at a graveyard? Like,
who hasn't?
Yeah, no, I think that's true. She really did.
A brother of mine had sex in a cemetery once.
I'd be too worried about getting cursed, dude. Like,
we were watching the Robert Downey Jr. Sherlock Holmes movie, and there's a scene in a cemetery, and my older brother, who is a piece of shit, for many reasons, but he was like, oh, that graveyard, I fucked a girl there once.
Ew.
And he was living in England for a while, so, like, he probably did.
Oh. I like that movie.
Yeah, sorry to ruin it. Like, it's hard to watch that movie anymore.
Yeah, I fucked in that graveyard. Neat!
He told me when I was, like, 13 as well.
That's so gross.
Complaining about him counts as therapy, so thank you.
Yeah, no problem.
Every episode of this podcast will just get worse and worse and say another bad thing he did until the end of time, because he's got so much going on. That's one of the better things he's done.
Jesus Christ.
Back to this episode of The Twilight Zone from 1959.
Oh my god.
20 years before that brother of mine was born. Next episode, I'll say what the numbers on the back of his credit card are, and we can start piecing together everything you need. So, he runs out of this police station that we were talking about like half an hour ago. And he yells out the title of the episode. Where is everybody?
Whoa!
Like, it's always fun when that happens. It was probably less fun back then because no one knew what the episode was called. They didn't have a DVD.
Yeah.
Oh, that's true.
I don't even know if the TV guide would have said it. What would the TV guide say about this episode? Man stuck in town.
What the name of?
Yeah, would the name have been in the credits? It probably would have been in the credits.
Now you just have to watch all the sponsor clips, because this episode's brought to you by something terrible, probably a pack of cigarettes or something. On the Blu-ray, there is like a whole special feature where Rod Serling is showing this episode to, like, he has like the recording that he sends out to potential advertisers, and it's him telling them what the show's going to be like and trying to sell advertisers on the concept of the Twilight Zone, and I love it.
Oh, that's so cool.
How do you tell people to like what the Twilight Zone's going to be? But he describes like the first like 6 episodes or something.
Yeah, it's hard to elevator pitch a anthology series, especially one like the Twilight Zone.
But when it comes to the episode where the man is stuck on the asteroid with the robot woman, he does say, I'll leave it up to your imagination what they do. So even he kind of knew.
They definitely fucked on the asteroid. That's not controversial, I feel.
Yeah, no, it's all but confirmed.
But that's a discussion for that episode.
Yeah, no, the best episode, the first A++++ episode of this. It'll be the only episode to get that much.
Yeah, we only allowed pluses for the robot fucking episode.
Okay, then there's a Night Gallery episode that's the same thing but rape. So that gets an A++,
God damn it.
minus, because that's a bit too much.
Oh my god.
And when we get to the 90s Outer Limits, every like 3rd episode's about having sex with a robot, so...
Jesus Christ, the 90s.
Like, every episode of that show is about having sex with a robot and having an actor from Twin Peaks in it. What more do you need?
I mean, the 2 greatest joys in life, yes. When we get to that every episode, I'm gonna be like, oh, it's the sheriff.
In like 20 years when we get up to that point. By that point, there'll be another Outer Limits reboot, 2 more Twilight Zone reboots, nothing more of Night Gallery. That's never coming back. This man, who at the stage we don't even know his name, so we still keep calling him the man, the protagonist, the whatever. He walks into a drugstore, and as you know, they all have drinks and ice cream. It was so much more fun back then, by the sounds of it.
Yeah, it sounded freaking rad. Or they just like mix up your Coke for you right in front of you, as in the beverage, not the drug, because this is the 50s and you have to make sure.
This sounds so fun. Now you go in there and you get like cold and flu meds and a face mask if you're feeling exciting.
Mm-hmm.
But he goes into his drugstore and he's looking at the reflection. There's a mirror behind the counter. Just so you can look at yourself while you're eating, which is what everyone wants.
I want to see what I look like when I'm just going to town on this hot fudge sundae. Like a rabid raccoon.
But he's serving himself some ice cream and he's talking to his reflection. And he's talking about how he doesn't know his name. But this is probably just a dream that he wants to wake up from.
Yeah, but it's starting to overstay its welcome.
Yeah, it was fun to be, paranoid for the first, 10 hours, but then it gets a bit much.
Yeah.
You can't believe just how detailed everything here is. Like, he sees all these small details, like there's this high school basketball schedule, and it talks about all the schools they're playing and what dates. Who would make this stuff up?
Yeah.
And then he sees a bunch of books on display, including The Last Man on Earth.
Mm-hmm.
And that really sets him off, because what if he's the last man on Earth? Just chill out, have some more ice cream. Just don't look at the scary corner with the books.
Yeah, dude, you got unlimited hot fudge back there. Go crazy.
He is not having enough fun with this nightmare situation. I'd probably go a few days before I panic.
Why not embrace the fun of being an amnesiac in an empty town where you feel like someone's watching you? Come on.
Exactly. You could do really rude stuff. He never once pulled down his pants and be like, "Are you watching this?" I feel like that's the kind of thing they would have done in one of the Twilight Zone reboots.
Yeah, I think so.
They were a bit too classy for that in 1959. We only imply sex with robots, we don't actually show it.
Yeah, or the existence of butts, I guess.
But it's now cut to nighttime, and he's playing tic-tac-toe with himself, that's how desperate he's gotten.
Mm-hmm.
But the town's lights all switch on, all at once. And he sees there's a movie theater here. Dude, why did you play tic-tac-toe with yourself before going, even checking out the movie theater? What the fuck is wrong with you?
Yeah, right. I mean, even if you don't know how to work the reels, maybe you can figure it out.
Can't be that hard. No one's gonna yell at you if you get it wrong. He sees a poster outside the theater for a movie called Battle Hymn, which is a real movie. It starred Rock Hudson.
Yeah, I thought that might be real, because actual actors, but I wasn't sure.
Rock Hudson, a very gay man in the closet, I believe.
I think that's right, yeah.
Which might be relevant to something else I'll bring up later in the episode. Look at all these foreshadowing clips. You've got to watch. You got to watch past the episode synopsis to get all the exciting tidbits, or you could just skip to the end of the episode, I guess.
No, you're not allowed to listen to the fun facts if you don't listen to the rest of the episode. There's going to be a password.
Rock Hudson's character is wearing an Air Force jumpsuit. And it looks a lot like the jumpsuit that our character's in. And then he remembers, he must be in the Air Force.
Yeah, but he doesn't know what the Air Force is.
He doesn't know what a movie is. He's just looking at this being like, what's happening?
What the fuck is this shit?
But no, he yells out to the entire theater that he's in the Air Force. And he's thinking, what could have happened that led to this situation? It couldn't be a bomb because there's no destruction. So he's really confused, but it doesn't matter because the projector starts up on its own. Once again, implying he's being watched.
Yeah, he's just screaming, "Who's there?"
Yeah, and if you can believe it, there's no one there.
Yeah.
This would be a really good, it would make the episode worse, but I wouldn't be surprised if people are watching this thinking, everyone's just invisible.
That would not surprise me as a twist.
That feels like some Goosebumps type shit. There is a SpongeBob episode from way after SpongeBob stopped being good that does the same plot of this episode.
Really?
And I'd say one of the modern episodes is probably 18 years old by this stage.
Probably.
The reveal of that episode, if I remember correctly, is everyone just left Bikini Bottom because they wanted a day without SpongeBob because he's so annoying.
Aww. That's so sad.
Including Patrick. Patrick does it. I think Gary does it.
Yeah, I don't remember that episode, so that must be...
Yeah, good. Now, this is at the point where I knew it was bad, but, the show's going to get cancelled eventually, so I might as well watch every episode. And I didn't realize, just like The Simpsons, I didn't realize that this thing would just keep going forever and outlive all of us.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's not what happened in this episode. Everyone didn't leave because they hate this guy.
No. They didn't leave because he sucks.
Oh, he does suck. He did go behind the counter of a lot of businesses. Even before he knew that everyone had disappeared. He went behind that one counter.
Oh, that's true, but...
I think he deserves to be in an eternal hell. That's all I'm saying.
Just because he stole coffee that one time?
So, he is clearly panicking that the projector is on, all this stuff is happening, but there's no one there. And he runs into the lobby, and in a really cool shot, you see him running down some stairs, if I remember correctly, and then he basically runs, and the screen shatters because he actually ran into a mirror of himself.
Yeah, that actually surprised me. I was like, oh.
Now, things are getting even weirder, and you could tell because now everything is a Dutch angle.
Yeah, so many Dutch angles. He's running around. He ran back outside. He's freaking out.
And then he sees this eye staring at him, and it's the logo for an optometrist.
Yeah. It's really good.
Yeah, even on the commentary, the actor is like, that's stupid. That doesn't even look like an eye. It doesn't look like a real eye.
But it's fun. It's a good time.
He goes to a pedestrian crossing, and he keeps pressing the button to cross the road, and he's just pressing it, asking for help. He wants someone to help him. And now, we get to see other people for the first time. There's this whole group of what looks like high-ranking military people watching him on a TV. And someone says, clock him and get him out of there. Release the subject.
Oh.
Our protagonist is in a small box in a warehouse or a hangar, I'm not sure. He's hooked up to lots of wires. We can see in this small box, his hand is pressing a button constantly, and his other hand is smashing a clock face that is broken. And it's like the one that broke at the beginning of the episode. Wow.
It's all coming together.
They say that he suffered delusions, but they timed him at 484 hours and 36 minutes, which I looked up as 20 days.
Jesus.
Or, as the military guys say, that's roughly equivalent to a trip to the moon, several orbits, and return. People weren't optimistic, I guess, about how quick it would be to get to the moon.
Yeah, I don't know if... I don't think it takes that long. I don't know.
It didn't. At least, by 1969, it was quite a bit quicker than that, but also this was made 10 years beforehand.
Yeah.
So
how
they couldn't have known. Yeah, how did they know? They're like Mary Shelley. You should have known stuff.
Yeah, come on, guys.
This man cracked because he was alone that entire time in a small box. But they pull him out, and he is on a stretcher, and he's feeling better. They ask him what it was like towards the end of his time in this box. And he says he was in a place that he doesn't want to return to. A town with no people. The general says they can provide pretty much every other necessity a human needs. Like food, oxygen, reading material, recreation. They can even put in little movies for the guy on small film.
Mm-hmm.
But they can't simulate a man's hunger for companionship.
Yeah.
And if you think about the episode, all that stuff happened. There were books, there was movies, he ate a lot of food.
Oh yeah, that's true. I didn't even think about it that way.
It's good writing, if you can believe it. Rod Serling, I think he's actually a good writer.
I think he might be talented.
Yeah, but also, you can tell this was written in 1959 because nowadays, tech companies have found a way to simulate man's hunger for companionship, and it's very dystopian.
It's very dark. Yeah.
Yeah, no, if they set him up with, an AI chatbot, he would have had so much fun that entire time.
That would have been a whole different Twilight Zone episode, I'm sure.
The box would have been coated in semen.
Oh. Oh. Gross.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Sorry, that's about 90s Outer Limits talk. Sorry. Wrong show.
Yeah. But yeah, so it turns out like this whole episode was a delusion while he trained for like isolation in space.
Yeah, because on the next trip, he'll really be on the moon.
Yeah.
Which, don't make that the next trip. He cracked horribly. Maybe give him like one more test before you've really sent him to the moon.
Yeah.
Also, we find out his name is Mike, which is exciting.
Good old Mike. Yep.
Yeah, I forget his last name. It doesn't matter.
But yeah, even after all of that, at the end of the episode, he was still like looking up at the moon and being like, I'm gonna go there. That's gonna be me. Which I thought was kind of cool.
And he's stupid because he wasn't, Buzz Aldrin or Neil Armstrong. How did Rod Serling not know?
Yeah, come on.
Look up Wikipedia, man. It's right there. It's free.
Dang it, Mr. Serling. Come on.
Taking back what I said about him being a good writer.
But I mean, that was a thing. Like, before we went to the moon, didn't we send pilots up in, like, little capsules?
Yeah, and a dog, and it was very sad.
Yeah, I don't like thinking about the dog.
All the, chimps they had to test machinery with. Yeah, no, it was not great. But it did mean that America did beat those pesky Russians at one small part of going into space. The Russians did everything else first, but hey, America won one thing, literally. And that's the greatest thing in the world. America's always the best. But is this episode the best? I have to go first, and I know where you'll be. I know what you'll rank it, but I'm going slightly lower. Once again, I'm sorry. I think this is a B. It's a good episode. It's a great episode. I just don't think it's like best of the best Twilight Zone. I think this is in the upper areas. Maybe even a B plus if I allowed myself to be like that, but I don't think it's quite an A. But what do you think?
Well, you might be surprised because for Twilight Zone, I raise my standards more. And I would just knowing like this episode's really good, but just like knowing how good like the best Twilight Zone is, I'd probably also give it a B. This episode it's so good, and it's impressive that they made like the first episode of the Twilight Zone like this good. That just tells you.
Yeah, it's great. And it's a hell of a first episode, but it wasn't the first episode Rod Serling wanted to make. Ooh, I'll get to that later. Yeah, no, you'll find out about how fucked up Rod Serling was and what his expectation for 1959 audiences was.
Oh, hell yeah. But no, I think like a lot about so much about this episode was cool. Like the whole set I thought was really, really awesome. Just this big, elaborate, empty town set.
That big empty town set is a famous empty town set.
Oh, is it?
This town is Hill Valley from Back to the Future.
Oh, is it? I had no idea.
Same empty town. This is they use it for lots of TV and movies back in the day where they wanted like an Americana-looking town with like a big public square and stuff.
Yeah, that's really cool. I had no idea.
If you watch this episode, and you know that it's Back to the Future, you can really see it.
Yeah, now that you say that, I can recognize it. But yeah, and the fact that like one actor had to carry the whole thing, like it's really good, and it's a really good story. But yeah, just knowing how good Twilight Zone. I guess I'm just trying to put it in context of the other episodes.
Oh, exactly. This had a few audio commentaries. The first one was by the main man himself, Earl Holliman, who I'll talk about even later in the episode. Everything is building up to this exciting fun facts thing at the end that won't be that exciting, but still.
I'm still excited.
Earl Holliman, basically, he just talks about the production and also how young he looked back then.
Oh.
He was a little baby back then.
Little baby. Hey.
Yeah, and he got older, if you can believe it.
What?
Rod Serling sent him the script to star in it. So this was Rod's first choice for an actor.
Oh, sweet.
They had worked together before on Playhouse 90. Rod Serling thought this would be a good man to just basically force to be alone and talk to himself and be miserable.
To be sad and scared.
And Earl Holliman had a suggestion to Rod Serling on how to make this episode potentially even better. Definitely more Twilight Zone-esque. Which is weird because this is the first Twilight Zone, so they wouldn't have even known the cliches.
Yeah.
But they were thinking, in the phone booth, he pulls out a page of the phone directory and puts it in his pocket. And then at the end, when they're on the stretcher, that page falls out, and he actually took it with him into the real world.
They should have done that. That would have been so cool.
Rod Serling, I think he liked the idea, but he was like, CBS won't do that. They don't want this kind of show.
But why?
Which is funny, because that's what this became. It became that kind of show.
It definitely became that.
He was like, CBS want a show based in reality, none of this weird stuff.
Well, whoops.
The thing about being locked in the phone booth, that happened to Rod Serling once. And he was really embarrassed because he wasn't alone. There were a bunch of people watching him try to, wrestle with his phone booth door.
No, that sucks.
He was like, I want to fucking die. Everyone saw me with this. A man, ripped open the door to help him. And he was like, this is the most embarrassing moment of my life. I hate it.
Oh, that sucks so hard. Poor guy.
But if you can believe it, Earl Holliman wasn't happy with his performance in this episode. He was like, yeah, it was okay, but I could have been a lot better.
Really? Because I thought his performance was really good. I mean, you're always harder on yourself, but...
Exactly. Yeah, a lot harder on himself, even though he was perfect.
Yeah, he did an amazing job. That's not a easy acting role to do, you know? I would feel so awkward if I had to just act by myself to a camera, you know?
And he really carried this. He was definitely the best actor in this episode, without a doubt.
Yeah.
Now, the second commentary was for the pilot version that went to advertisers, and it had a couple small differences, like a different narrator and things like that. And this was an audio commentary by William Self. He was the program executive at CBS. He was told to develop the pilot episode of The Twilight Zone, and that's the only role in The Twilight Zone he ever had, was basically get this pilot, release it, and make sure it takes off. He's not a huge production person behind the show, and he doesn't really have much to do with it, so he's got a few worse things to say, but, it's good to have that perspective.
Sure.
He had no idea what he was getting into by this, and this was his first job at CBS, was basically get the show.
Yeah, that's a pretty big ask.
Rod Serling gave him the script, and William Self fucking hated the initial script. It didn't go well. Rod Serling and this man had some beef for a bit.
That makes sense.
The initial pilot for Twilight Zone wasn't a fun little romp about a man being stuck in a town not knowing who he is. It was going to be called The Happy Place. It's set in a society where people are executed once they reach the age of 60 because they're no longer useful.
Oh my god.
This man was right at the end of the day, where he's like, hey, CBS probably won't like this. It's still 1959.
That's really dark.
B, advertisers won't like this. People aren't going to want to sell their cigarettes with this. This won't, be a successful launching pad for the show. I think society where they kill everyone when they reach 60 is what you do when you've got a few seasons of Goodwill, maybe. Not, this is how you get the average 1959 family to watch.
No. I mean, he did get an episode with that idea, more or less. The one where, with the old guy, he was in a totalitarian government, and they were gonna kill him because he became obsolete.
And there's also a movie called Logan's Run, which is based on a book.
Yeah.
Which is also the same thing, except it's 30 or 35. We're both in our 30s, and we're no longer useful.
Yeah, it's actually a pretty popular sci-fi idea, I think.
Rod Serling, you're an idiot. Why did you rip off these ideas that came out after you wrote it?
Yeah, come on.
Why didn't you just go on Wikipedia and look up Logan's Run? William Self was like, hey, Rod, this is terrible. And Rod was apparently, according to, William Self's version of events, Rod Serling was very angry and demanded to CBS that this man be removed.
Yeah, I mean, if he was that invested in it.
That does sound like the kind of thing Rod Serling probably would do. Rod Serling hated advertisers, he hated companies like this.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
But a few days later, Rod Serling came back unannounced and said, "Hey, you were right. I was wrong. Sorry about the happy place. That's not something advertisers would ever take up." So here's a new script that I wrote in a couple days, and it's Where Is Everybody? And Self loved it, obviously, and that's why we have it.
I mean, it's wild he was able to write something so good in just a few days. Like,
that's all he ever did. Because, like, he would, if I understand correctly, Rod Serling would, like, talk into, like, a recording device, just his ideas.
Mm-hmm.
And then that would get transcribed into, like, a script.
That's so cool.
Yeah, he was a man of the future. He would have had a podcast if he was born decades later.
Oh, he 100% would have. I would listen to it.
So, and this episode has some dark elements to it, but it is a much more acceptable thing for the time. This is still the 50s. This is Leave It to Beaver time. This is like I Love Lucy. I don't even think the Beverly Hillbillies was out yet, but I could be wrong. But this is very much a very different time for TV. So I don't think Kill Everyone was going to take off immediately.
No. But I could see people being anxious about, technology, space travel, all that kind of thing. So I could see why it would be a very relevant episode.
Yeah, and this is, post-Sputnik. This is when America's really caring about the space race.
Yeah, oh god, yeah.
When they were making this pilot, they were like, hey, let's get famous narrator Westbrook Van Voris. And he did the initial recording of the pilot that didn't make it to TV. And it's alright. It's not as good, but that's probably because I have a Rod Serling bias.
Well, Rod Serling's voice is just so iconic.
But if we lived in the Westbrook Van Voris timeline, we'd be saying the same thing.
I think I would know. I think I would know something was wrong.
They were like, okay, this narrator's good enough to, sell to advertisers, but who do we really want when we hit the TV? They were thinking Orson Welles, but apparently he wanted too much money.
Oh, I bet.
And then Rod Serling was like, hey, I'll narrate since we can't find anyone else. So Rod Serling basically did it out of desperation. And then he became, like, the most iconic part of the show.
Yeah, he even starts showing up in person. Yeah, wild to think that that wasn't, like, the go-to at first. Because he has, like, such a good voice for this kind of, storytelling.
I think every man back then just sounded like him.
It's all the cigarettes.
For what it's worth, despite the beef between Rod Serling and William Self initially, things mellowed out, and after this pilot was done, Rod Serling was like, hey, do you want to work for the Twilight Zone? And he wanted to, but he was like, my loyalty's to CBS, so I won't, work on it. But he did recommend Buck Houghton as a producer, and Buck Houghton became a producer for, all the show, I believe. He helped get some balls rolling for the Twilight Zone, and Rod Serling wanted him, but, CBS is more important. Also, while I'm going through Blu-ray special features, everyone's favorite part of his podcast, we have Rod Serling giving a lecture at Sherwood Oaks College in 1975. We don't know when in 1975, but that is the year he passed away, so presumably it happened beforehand. Yeah. But this might be for all we know, could be one of the last, recordings of him.
Oh, that's so cool. Yeah, I didn't know that was a thing.
Yeah, because he taught college later on. Apparently it was nice. He liked talking, if you can imagine.
Dang, I bet that was a super cool class.
Now, he gave some great insight, including in the phone booth section of the episode, it took 3 hours to get, that circular shot where it, shows the outside from all the different angles.
Oh, really? Wow.
And he wasn't happy with it because he wanted it to be even better.
Oh. It was a cool shot, though.
That mirror break scene took half a day to film.
Jesus Christ.
And what happened is, behind the mirror was a man with a sledgehammer that had to, hit it at the same time.
What? That's so cool. I never would have guessed that. I love that shit.
There was a cut scene from this episode where the man went into a bank and stole a bunch of money before he realized it was worthless because there's no people to, buy things with.
Yeah.
And then he started to light cigarettes with all this money, like $100 bill and stuff.
They should have kept that. That rules.
Rod Serling in 1975 is like, this episode wasn't very good, was it? The writing was terrible.
It was so good. I mean, again, I know people are harder on themselves than other people are, but it's good. It's so good.
He said it was a turd. He used that exact word while talking to college students. This episode's a turd, specifically in reference to how the protagonist says out loud how he feels and how he feels like it's being watched. He feels like that's bad exposition.
Well, what are you supposed to do if it's one character, you know?
He just didn't like any of the talking to himself stuff. He also hated the use of music in this episode, which I kind of agree with. I feel like it'd be better if it was just ambient to really get the feel of isolation.
Yeah. Yeah, okay, I could see that. I mean, I guess there was stuff you could tell through, like, you know, show don't tell. But, I mean, I get it. I don't think it's a huge deal.
Rod Serling was even talking on this about how one time he wrote, like, a movie, and there was a line of dialogue in it that he wrote that he thought was great at the time, and then years later he realized he hated it.
Oh, no.
And that was the movie that was on an airplane with, like, everyone had to watch that movie. And when that line appeared, everyone in the plane looked at him.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and he was like, that was, like, the most embarrassing moment of my life. I wanted to jump out of a plane.
Oh, that sucks. I'm sure it was actually fine, though.
Yeah, no, he's a little man. I wanted to hug Rod Serling. He's too hard on himself.
I know, he's way too hard on himself. Also, those phone booth doors are stupid. I would get trapped in one too.
After this episode came out, so years later, I don't know when, but he wrote this into a short story, and in it, he put in the idea that he grabs a movie ticket stub, puts it in his pocket, and at the end, it falls out.
He did it!
He did it in a short story. He didn't mention in this college lecture that supposedly that idea came from the actor. Maybe he forgot it and they both independently came up with the same idea, or maybe the actor is lying. I'm going to trust that the actor was telling the truth and Rod Serling incorporated it later, with no maliciousness. Rod Serling said of this episode that this is a failure.
Oh my goodness.
You see it in retrospect. A good film is one that you look at 20 years later and say, wow, grand illusion. This doesn't. This has bacteria on it with the years.
I mean, that's a very poetic way of looking at it, but this is a good episode.
And he also said in that lecture, I am a country mile away from being one of the fine screenwriters.
Oh my god! Are you serious?
Yeah, and this is like presumably a few months, if not a few weeks, before he passed away. So that's how he thought about himself at the end.
That sucks. I mean, I love Rod Serling's writing style. Like, it's so idiosyncratic and just cool. Like, I hate that he thought that about himself. That breaks my heart.
Do you know who else loved his writing style? Some people in the 2000s who were like, let's turn the Twilight Zone into a radio drama, decades after people stopped caring about radio dramas. And I listened to the radio drama adaptation of Where Is Everybody?
Oh yeah, you told me about that. Was it good?
Yeah, it was good. It was basically what if the episode had no video.
Yeah.
It was good. I'm going to keep listening to all of these, and I'm not expecting you to.
I want to listen to them, though. It sounds fun.
There were 155 episodes that were direct adaptations of Twilight Zone, and the Twilight Zone had 156 episodes. So every episode except one got an adaptation into radio. I don't know the exact number. I think it's between like 10 and 25 additional episodes that were made based on Rod Serling, like, stories that never made it to TV.
Yeah.
So there's some original content here. But this is a really fun thing. About 30 of the episodes are on the DVDs for Twilight Zone, and 81 are on the Blu-ray. But for the full 176 episodes, meaning 20 were brand new, you have to basically listen to some pirated copies on the Internet Archive.
Ugh, they always make shit so hard.
These episodes used to be on the radio, but also you could buy them on CD or cassette tape back in the day, which isn't really a thing now.
Yeah.
It's narrated by Stacy Keach, who is a very prolific actor, but unfortunately I don't have, much knowledge of stuff, so I'll just say he was the warden on Prison Break. That's where I know him from, and people my age might know him from, that he had a genuinely great career.
I have never seen Prison Break. I'm so sorry. I feel like that's one of those shows I should have seen, but just have not.
I mean, I'll only judge you a little, but it sucks. It sucked in a fun way.
Yeah.
One of the main characters is called Theodore Bagwell, and he's called Teabag for short. That's the kind of level we're talking about.
Oh, so pure, like, better than Shakespeare writing, basically.
Also, this radio play starred John Schneider, who you might know for being Bo Duke in The Dukes of Hazzard.
Oh, that's so cool.
Or Jonathan Kent in Smallville.
Oh my god! I never realized that was the same guy.
Yeah, he plays Mike, the amnesiac guy. And if you can believe it, it's just him talking into a microphone the entire episode with very little else going on.
What?
It's very similar, but it's 40 minutes long instead of like 20 minutes, so it's got more stuff going on. There's a lot more exposition because they can't do visual stuff. Rod Serling would have hated it, being like, why is he talking? Rod Serling's version of this would have been entirely silent, because he's thinking. It's fun. It's one of those things where, depending on how cynical you are, you could either say it has padding, or you could say it has extra world building and fun things happening. I think it's good. But, like, there are small details, like when he leaves the diner, he switches the sign to say closed.
Oh. Oh, that's cute.
He talks to the mannequins more in this, a little. Not full on has a relationship with him, but he needs someone to bounce off, even if they don't bounce back.
Yeah.
He does light a cigar with a $100 bill in this version.
Yes!
He goes to a radio station. It was a radio station he listened to when he was younger.
Meta.
But he takes control of the radio and asks whoever's listening to call into the station. So that's fun.
Well, that's cool.
He gets a phone call on this one, and instead of it being a recorded operator voice, it says that you won an all-expense trip to deep space. So they kind of say what's happening earlier.
Okay, maybe don't do that, but it's cute.
He once again remembers he's in the Air Force, like before, but
yeah,
he actually says he'll kill himself if this doesn't end soon.
Oh god. Yeah, so just a little bit darker.
And it ends with him going to the police station. He finds shotguns from there and tries to shoot himself with it, but he gets...
Oh god.
And he's talking about how he'll do it because shotguns are pretty big. So he was like, I'll use my toe to pull the trigger, and then he's like, this little piggy. Like, he does this little piggy thing.
What the fuck? That's incredible.
And then this version of the story ends with him being locked in that jail cell before he even kills himself. So they actually saved that for the end this time. But yeah, before he kills himself, he's pulled out of the illusion. And it basically says that this is a deep space experiment. It's a simulated trip to get to the 10th planet.
The 10th planet. That's mysterious.
This is back when Pluto was the 9th. So it's the one beyond that.
Oh, that's cool. I like that. That's a cool, spooky little detail.
Because obviously this is the 2000s, so getting to the moon's easy. We all do it. You know, go on the weekend, get back in time for dinner.
Yeah. My little moon picnic, you know.
But they even make it a bit more heroic, because in this version, people had already gotten to the 10th planet and had like an emergency, and he is being trained to go there to rescue them.
Oh, that's so cool. Yeah, it seems like they added some cool extra stuff.
It's definitely, less good than the episode, but
yeah,
I think it's fun. If you're driving to work and put this on, you'd be invested and probably wouldn't want to get to work until the episode's done.
Yeah, I'll be on the edge of my seat.
Nowadays, everyone has a smartphone world. This would be a good podcast to listen to. Just put on some nice audio while you're doing whatever you do. And it is very reminiscent of those old anthology radio plays that used to be a big deal decades ago. There used to be radio shows back in the day, if you can believe it. And a radio is like a TV with no TV. And a TV is like Disney Plus and Netflix, but you can't choose things. Back when we used to have a doxing book in every payphone.
In every home.
And a payphone is like a phone, but you have to pay for it, and it's like stuck to the ground.
Yeah, it's outside, stuck to the ground.
Now that we're kind of at the end, I want to talk about some actors before we finally wrap this up and let everyone get on with their lives. Earl Holliman, who I mentioned earlier, plays Mike Ferris. He lived a long life, but he unfortunately passed away in November 2024.
Oh, wow.
So less than 2 years ago at the time of speaking.
Yeah, wow, he lived a long time.
He was in a few things. He played the cook in Forbidden Planet. He was even in one episode of Captain Planet.
Good for him.
Now, he was a really cool guy by the sounds of things. He was an animal rights activist.
Hell yeah.
For 25 years, he was the president of Actors and Others for Animals.
Aww.
He nursed animals at home when they were, injured.
Aww.
During the holiday seasons, he would help organize meals for the less fortunate.
Oh, what a sweetheart.
The details, we don't have too many details of this because this was kept rather quiet until his passing, I believe. But he was married to Craig Curtis, so he was gay or bi, but he married a man who was still with him when he passed away, and I think he was the guy that let us know, hey, Earl Holliman has passed away. So yeah, he...
Aww.
Unfortunately, despite being this awesome gay icon who loved animals, he wasn't in Outer Limits or Night Gallery, so who gives a shit?
Yeah, that's the measure of worth.
Yeah, James McCallion, he was in this episode and he played Reporter Number 1. I'm sure you know exactly which one that is.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I'm guessing the first one who talked.
Maybe. He was in a Night Gallery segment called The Diary. And he was in Outer Limits in an episode coming up pretty soon called Man with the Power.
Ooh, mysterious. Well, we've got our hat trick.
And before I ask you to predict the next episode, I just need to remind people that we're on social media.
Yeah.
We are at sci-frightzone.bsy.social, and my personal account is at freezer.bsy.social.
Yeah, and my personal is at birdwoman.geekcritique.org.
We're also on all the pod-catching apps and YouTube. So yeah, make sure to follow us, even though you're clearly following us in some form if you're listening to this.
Yeah. But, just on the off chance.
So, we'll be looking at The Outer Limits again for its third episode, with the very descriptive name, The Architects of Fear. What do you think happens in The Architects of Fear?
Well, shit. Okay, either it's gonna be my go-to, which is Alien Experiment, where they're trying to induce fear in human test subjects or some shit, or...
by putting them in a town where they're alone with amnesia.
Exactly, it's my go-to. Or it's gonna be about a world-controlling Illuminati-type organization who shapes world events to make wars happen or something. Or it's gonna be something completely different. Probably that one.
I'm leaning to that last one you said, that it's completely different, but we'll find out how right you are next time.
Well, you would know.
Yeah, I have a bit of a bias. I've seen it before.
God damn it.
And if you don't like that episode, I'll never forgive you.
You've already never forgiven me 3 times this episode.
Yeah, but this is different because the Twilight Zone everyone loves. The Outer Limits, only me and some 60-year-old people like it.
I've liked it so far.
Yeah, you liked the racist episode, and you liked the galaxy being a little...
I really like the galaxy being.
The next episode, I am pretty confident, has no racism or galaxy beings.
Well, good for no racism, but boo for no galaxy being.
We now return control of your podcatcher to you. Until next time, when the control voice takes you back to the Sci-Fright Zone.